Okay, I think we should start. Let me. Okay, let me just start record on this. Oh. शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये दोर्भिर्युक्ता चतुर्भिस्फटिकमणिमयीमक्षमालां दधाना हस्तेनैकेन पद्मं सितमपि च शुकं पुस्तकं चापरेण पासाकुन्देन्दुशङ्कस्फटिकमणिनिभा भासमाना समाना सा मे वाग्देवतेयं निवसतु वदने सर्वदा सुप्रसन्ना कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वाल्मीकेर्मुनिसिंहस्य कविता वनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिम् गोष्पदीकृतवाराशिं मशकीकृतराक्षसम् रामायण महामालारत्रं वन्दे नीलात्मजम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रपञ्चनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामलम् नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः हरिः ओम् We completed Aditya Hridayam last class. Over 5 classes we saw the Aditya Hridayam, and we are almost at the end of Yuddha Kandam. It's all, I think, it's all winding of formalities now because everybody is dead. Everybody is gone except Ravana. There were thousands of monkeys which died on this side, but there were no major casualties of any major leaders on the Vanara side. Whereas if you look at the Rakshasa side, it's not only that thousands and thousands of Rakshasas died, but all the leaders who gave company to Ravana are all gone, and Ravana is alone. And as we may recollect, Ravana's chariot was destroyed completely, and so the charioteer, Ravana went back, came with another chariot, but then the fierce battle was happening between Rama and Ravana. At that time, Ravana's Sarathi somehow drew the chariot away, which Ravana did not like. But then the Sarathi told, we should be very uh, much alive to what is happening in the battlefield, and the safety of the king or the safety of the Yajamana who is sitting in the chariot lies with the charioteer. He is like the driver in the modern parlance of a car. The driver holds the safety for the VIP sitting in the front row or front seat or the back seat, doesn't matter. The driver carries the safety. So like that he explains. But then Ravana says, no, go back. So that's where Aditya Hridaya came. While that was happening on the Ravana side, on the Rama side, Rama was momentarily feeling a little bit tired because this fight is going on. It doesn't seem to come an end. So there was sort of a momentary feeling of what is going on here. Will I be able to finish the game? And that's when um, Agastya Bhagavan Rishi, we saw that Aditya Hridaya. He came to Rama and then told Edat Trigunitam Jatva Yuddeshu Vijayishis. That's what he says. 3 times you with the Chitta Ekagrata, the single pointed focus, you recite it 3 times, you will definitely win the enemies. That's what Agastya said. Jagamacha Etagatam. As he came, he went. He came and gave this Upadesha, and Agastya went. And in the Aditya Hridayam, we also saw towards the end. Tririhi Achamya Suchirbhutva. Tirachamya Suchirbhutva. 3 times he does Achamya and then he purified himself. He actually prayed sun god. And the last shloka, if you remember, he says, Vachastvareti. Vachaha twaraha iti. Aviravadan nirikshya Raman. So our Surya, who is also part of that set of gods there, he said, do it fast. So that is how we stopped the Aditya Hridaya. So now the story continues. And today what we will see is the killing of Ravana, we will see, because it's all done. So it's just waiting for this Upadesha. So today we will see the killing of Ravana. And in the next 2 classes or 3 classes, we will see Vibhishana Pattabhisheka and then Rama's return and Rama Pattabhisheka. I think in another 3 classes we should be able to finish the Yuddha Kandam and therefore the Ramayana. Because Uttarakandam I am not very keen. It's also very huge and a major sampradaya is to stop with the Yuddha Kandam only. Anyway, we will see the next in the next 3 classes we finish the Yuddha Kandam. So 105th Sarga was Aditya Hridaya, and you have 106th and 107th Sarga, which describes the final encounter, Rama's final encounter with the Ravana. Actually, Valmiki is an Adi Kavi, so you'll see a lot of poetic descriptions of the battle. I'm not really going to get into such slokas. So 36 verses in the 106th Sarga, which actually describes the battle between Rama and Ravana. And 67 verses in 107th Sarga, of which the first 43 verses is the continuation of the same description of how this final assault is happening, between how this final fight is happening between Rama and Ravana. Shlokas 44 to 52, that 9 shlokas. If you remember, all these gods have assembled there. They have come to see what is happening. So they have a certain description of what they felt the war looks like between Rama and Ravana. So that we will see all those shlokas, whatever they are saying. Very interesting shlokas there. those 5-6 shlokas we will see. Then Sarga ends. Actually, what happens is Rama makes an attempt to kill Ravana. Means he cuts off his head and all that, but he doesn't seem to be dying. So those are described. So Rama to the end of the end of the Sarga is Rama is asking what is going on here. Why is it that this fellow is not dying? So that kind of thinking uh, Rama has. So those are all described in this Sarga. So we will take a fair number of shlokas from Sarga 107, simply because this is our last opportunity to know what kind of a fight happened, and also little bit about the Rama Ravana fight, what others felt. I think we should understand that. Therefore, we will see some shlokas from the 107th Sarga. तौ तु तत्र निमित्तानि दृष्ट्वा राघव रावणौ कृतबुद्धिस्थिरामर्षौ युधाते ह्यभीतवत्. In fact, you will find a lot of dvivachana. Sanskrit has this singular, dual, and plural. Here it is only about Rama and Ravana, so you will find a lot of dual. For example, tau, saha tau te. Saha is he. Tau is he too. In fact, they too, not he too, they too. And te is they. The English te is nothing but the Sanskrit te. They is only te. Saha tau te. So tau. Tau is here Rama and Ravana. Tau tu tatra nimittani drishtva Raghava Ravanau krita buddhihi stiramarshau yudate hi abhitavat. Krita buddhi, not krita buddhihi. Buddhihi buddhi buddhayah. So this is buddhi is also dvivachana. Buddhihi buddhi buddhayah. So krita buddhi stiramarshau yudhate hi abhitavat. Hyabhitavat. He plus abhitavat is hyabhitavat. So what is it saying? Tau Raghava Ravanau, those two Raghava and Ravana, tu indeed tatra there, nimittani drishtva, seeing what is unfolding there, whatever is happening in the battlefield, they are party to it now, their mind is working. So nimittani drishtva krita buddhi. Krita hai buddhihi yasya krita buddhihi. And if it is Dutiya Vachana, it is Krita Buddhi, which means having made up their mind. That is the meaning. Krita Buddhi means I have already made up my mind. I have made up my mind to fight actually. And what is the Krita Buddhi? Stira Amarshav. Firm in their anger against the other. Stira Amarshav, again Dvivachana. It describes both of them were like that. Yuddhate is again Dvivachana. They were fighting. He abhitavat. Bhitavat. Bhiti means fear. Bhitavat means fear like. Abhitavat means no fear. Fearless. They had no fear. They have made up their mind and they have, because they are seeing what is happening on the battlefield. So there is no running away from that for both of them for their own reasons. And they were ready to go for the final sort of an assault. So that is what is to be inferred from this shloka. Jetavyamiti kakutstah martavyamiti Ravana dhrutau swavirya sarvasvam yuddhe darshayatam tada. Jetavyam iti kakutstah martavyam iti Ravana dhrutau swavirya sarvasvam yuddhe Adarshyatam tada. See, this tavya in Sanskrit, all this tavya, kartavya, gantavya, we have here jetavya, martavya, patitavya, kaditavya, hasitavya. You can take any verb and put a tavya. Tavya, if you put, what it means is should be done. It ought to be done. If you want to communicate that in Sanskrit, that's why we say kartavya. Kartavya means that which has to be done. That's why we say this is my kartavya. We say like that. So tavya means it has to be done. So jetavyam, jeet, jita is winning. Jetavyam iti kakustah. This war has to be won. That is what Rama is in that bent of mind. Jetavyam iti kakustah. Martavyam iti Ravana. Ravana has almost, he knew what is happening. He says, he knows that I have to die in this war. I have come to that level now. That Ravana understood that my job is to die. Only thing is I'll fight till the end. So he has been reduced to that. So that's why he says, Martavyam iti Ravana. Ravanasya manasi Martavyam iti eva asit. His mind was that I am going to die. That is what was in his mind. Whereas Ramasya Kakutstasya manasi Chetavyam iti. I should win it at any cost. See, this is how the fate takes over. This is how the Daivam, the Adrishtam and the Daivam finally plays out. You know, it goes and sits in the minds of the people in a particular way. Ravana is now thinking that I have to die. More or less, he has come to that thought. And Rama is thinking that I have to win. So, Jetavyam iti kakutstaha, Martavyam iti Ravanaha, Dritau. Dritau is steadfast, firm, both of again Dvivachanam. Swavirya Sarvaswam. They were showing their entire prowess. Adarshyatam. Adarshayataha, Adarshyatam, Adarshayantah. So again Dvivachanam. That is a Dvivachanam. Everything is Dvivachanam. That is a verbal Dvivachanam. In verb also in Sanskrit you have a verb for indicating two people. So Adarshyatam means they were showing, they were demonstrating. Yuddhe Swaviryasvam Swavirya Sarvaswam. They in the war, they demonstrated, they displayed their valor or their prowess tada at that point in time, because they have come to that position now. The whole turn of events have gone that far now. That Swavirya Sarvaswam Yuddhe Adarshyatam tada. Tada is at that point in time. This is the mind of the people. This is the mind of Rama and Ravana during that occasion, which is all indicative of that the game is going to be over. Tau tata yuddyamanau tu samare Ravanau dadrushu sarva bhutani vismitenantaratmana. Tau, again all Dvivachanam. Tau tata yuddyamanau tu samare Ravanau dadrushu sarva bhutani vismitena antaratmana. Tau yuddyamanau Ravanau tau samare yuddyamanau tata samare yuddyamanau Ravanau tau. In this manner, yuddhyamana is present tense, fighting actually. In this manner, in the battlefield, these two people who are fighting, Rama and Ravana, tau dadrshuhu. Dadrshuhu is plural, saw. Right? Who saw? Sarva bhutani. Whole created beings were actually looking at it. Vismitena. Vismitena means smita is smile. Vismita is a smile. It's not really a smile. It is a certain kind of an astonishment, an expression of astonishment. Antaratmana with they were all, in the sense they were looking at what is going to happen. This is just going on, and what is going to happen. That kind of a feeling. So dadrshuhu sarva bhutani vismitena Antaratmana. Tau Samare Yuddhyamano Rama Ravano. So all the living beings were getting very tense on their own part. They were also looking at as to what is happening here. Ardayantau tu samare tayostau syandanottamau parasparamabhikruddhau parasparamabhidrutau. Everything is again dvivacham. Ardayantau, tayoho, tau, syandanottamau, paraspara abhikruddhau, paraspara abhidrutau. Everything is dvivacham. So whom did they see? They saw these two people. And who are they? Samare Ardayantau, those who are attacking each other in the battle, Tayoho, Tau, Sandhanottamau, who had Sandhana is actually chariot. So Sandhanottamau, they also saw their excellent chariots of these two warriors, which was sort of Tayoho, their chariot, right? Parasparam abhikruddhav. They were Kruddha is angry. So Parasparam abhikruddhav. So they were having that fist of anger on a mutual basis. Rama is also very angry to finish. Ravana is also very angry because he is getting sucked into this death, which he is slowly beginning to understand. So Parasparam abhikruddhav, Parasparam abhidrutav. Drutav is fast. Parasparam abhidrutav here, we say ran. Basically, they are very approaching fast each other. So they are approaching each other very fast, quickly, with a lot of fist of anger. That is what others were seeing. Parasparavade yuktau Gora rupau babuvatuhu Mandalani cha vitischa Gata pratyagatani cha Darshayantau bahuvidham Suta samartyajam gatim Ardayan Ravanam Ramah Ragavam chapi Ravanaha. Paraspara vadhe yuktau. Rama was somehow after killing Ravana, and Ravana, given a chance, was also wanting to kill Rama, because that is what war is all about. See, in the war, till one of them is killed, both of them have the same purpose, both of them have the same reason. Although internally their mind may say something. In the case of Ravana, although he is very keen to kill Rama, but internal mind is saying you are on your way out. That's a different story. But the fact is, Paraspara Vadhe Yuktau. They were engaged with an intent of destroying each other, killing each other. Gora Rupau Babuvatu. They looked very, terrible. Very, fearful, or what, fairy or fearful, whatever we want to say. Babuvatuhu. Then these next three lines talks about how the charioteers are actually adding to this whole thing. Mandalani. Mandala is round, circle. Circle is called mandala. So Mandalani cha vitischa, or going in a certain linear path or whatever. Okay. Gata pratyagatani cha. So these chariots were doing all kinds of tricks, suddenly going round, suddenly going straight, or coming back, all those. Gata pratyagatani cha. Right? Mandalani cha vitischa, gata pratyagatani cha, darshayanto. So both the chariots are showing these. So they were also adding to, and it is very important in a fight in which you are in a chariot. The charioteer is very important. That's why you have a Partha Sarathi for Partha, who is Krishna. The Sarathi does, most of the work. Very intelligent. That is what Ravana's Sarathi also told. Sometime back, we saw that in 104th or 103rd Sarga. He quickly took Ravana away. In the 103rd Sarga, you will see it. Saharthi has to play all these roles with a lot of skill. So Darshayantau Bahuvidam Suta Samartyajam Gatim. See this ja, you see a ja there. I have been, repeatedly giving examples. In Sanskrit, as I told you, da means give, annada, sukada, right? Similarly, ja means that which gives rise to janma, or what gives rise to something. That's called andaja. See, all those creatures which comes out of anda, egg, they are called andajas, right? So the ja means that which comes out of it. In this case, what is coming out of it? Suta samarthya ja. This all that we are talking, mandalani cha vitischa, gata pratyagatani cha, bahuvidam, all these are coming out of the samarthya of the suta. Suta is the charioteer. So the charioteer, by virtue of their skill, they were showing this gati. Gati means that the way the chariots are running. Because in a fierce battle, constantly the chariots will be running. Mandalani, Vitischa, Gata, Pratyagata, all those are happening. While all those are happening, Ardayan Ravanam Rame. So Ardayan is present continuous. In Sanskrit, Gachan. See, Gachati. Gachati means goes, simple present. Gachan asti, the Gachan. Patati means reads. Patan asti means that patan is continuous. If you put asti to it, it becomes present continuous. If you put asit, it will become past continuous. Patan asit means he was reading. Hyaha mama mitrasya griham gatavan saha Ramayanam patan asit. Or you can say, Aham mitrasya griham gatavan saha Ramayanam patan asti. That means I went to his house, he is reading Ramayana. So the patan is continuous, actually. With that, you can add either a present tense or a past tense, asti or asit. So in this case, Ravanam, or sometimes you can leave it like that. When it is a narration, you don't have to put asti and asit. Ardayan Ravanam Ramaha means he was in the process of attacking. That's all we are saying, right? Or or wounding or attacking, whatever. Ardayan Ravanam Ramaha. In the same way, Ragavam Chapi Ravana. So Ravana was, wounding, attacking, and all that of Raghava, and Rama was also doing the same thing to Ravana. The Ardayan is a continuous. In a narrative sense, you don't have to put a present tense or a past tense. We can leave it as continuous. Because in English also we do it, no? Rama hitting Ravana and Ravana hitting Rama, the charioteers were actually going all over the place. Like that we say, no? So that's how that Ardayan is coming. So that is how it is. It is saying how the encounter was fierce and how the abled charioteers. Ravana's charioteer is Indra's charioteer actually. Matali. Matali is Rama's charioteer now. If you remember when Rama's chariot was destroyed by Ravana, immediately Indra sent his chariot along with Matali, charioteer. So, and Ravana also had a very able charioteer. So they were adding more might and more fuel into the fight actually. That's what is being described here. Gati vegam samapannau pravartana nivartane kshipato sharajalani tayostau syandanottamau cheratusanyugamahim sasarau jaladadiva darshayitva tada tautu gatim bahuvidham rane. Gati vegam samapannau pravartana nivartane. So gati vegam, picking up that there's so much of speed with which they were actually, because the charioteers are doing the job for them. What Samapannaha, they were well established with this skill of going very fast at one another, and then pravartane nivartane, engaging the the opponent, or disengaging from him and then stepping away somewhere. That's a pravarti and nivritti. No? Pravarti is engaging, nivritti is taking out. So, you need all those skills when you fight in those kinds of warfare. It is not the button sitting in a remote place and pressing some nuclear head and so on. This is on the ground. So, therefore, they were having all these skills on account of very good charioteers that they have been having. That is what this is saying. Kripataha. Krip means to throw. I mean, in this case, you don't throw a arrow like this. Throw means you use a bow and then Shara Jalani. These sharas are the arrows. So Jala is it's like pouring. It's just pouring a lot of arrows like that. Shara Jalani tayohotau sendanotamau. So one at the other. Tayoho. One is putting it on the other, and the other is putting on one. They were throwing. They were actually sending. Pouring arrows, I must say. They were just pouring arrows like that at each other. Charetuhu Sanyugamahim Sasaro Jaladau Iva. Jalada Viva is a Sandhi, is Jaladau Iva. That become Aviva. Jalada Viva. There are two sandhis there actually. There's the first sandhi which is called Echoya Vayavaha. That makes it A. Then there is a Eko Enachi. That is another formula. So it's a two-step process. You get Jalada Viva. Jaladau Iva. Jalada Viva. So Charetuhu, they were just pouring the arrows. How it is? Sanyugamahim in the battlefield. In the battlefield, they were pouring the arrows, and how was it? Sasaro Jalado Iva. Just like a thick cloud, rain-bearing cloud will just pour water. Drops of water will keep on. When there's a good rain, you can see it keeps on pouring. Copiously, it is pouring. No? So Sasaro Jalado Iva. That is how this looked like. They were just aiming arrows from one another. It was like as though there is a heavy rain in which plenty of copious amount of water is actually pouring down. In the same way, it looked like that. Darshayitva tada, having displayed this kind of a skill, right? Tada, at that point in time, tau, both of them, gatim bahuvidam rane. So they were showing different, all these moving here and there with their charioteers, pouring thousands and thousands of arrows at one another. They were trying to injure the other one heavily. So this is going on. That is what is being described in these two shlokas, that there is a heavy fighting which is happening between Rama and Ravana. Chakampe Medini Krishna Sashailavana Kanana Bhaskaro Nishprabhaschasit Navavau Chapi Marutaha. See, if you see here, it says Bhaskaro Nishprabhaschasin Navavau Chapi Marutaha. I made a split because 8 aksharas make one pada. So what I did was Nishprabhaschasit. Moment you say Asit, then the nakara will become part of the last pada. So, this only when we read, we will see that naturally you will stop there because the 8 aksharas have a rhythm. Look at here. Chakam pe medini Krishna Sashailavana Kanana Bhaskaro Nishprabhaschasit Navavau Chapi Marutaha equal. So it is anyway. Chakampe. Kampana is shaking. It's a bhukampa. Bhukampa is earthquake. Kampana means shaking. In fact, there is another verb for kampana is age. Age, kampane. That is the dhatupata. So age also means shake. In fact, janan ejeti iti janame jaya. That janame jaya, people on seeing him, they'll be afraid. He's also powerful like that. That's why he's called janame jaya. They're also called age company. Kampana means shaking. So chakampe medini, the earth was shaking. Krishna. Krishna means sarvam, entire. Krishna means idi. Kannada bhashanalli idi ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Idi bhumi. So Krishna. Chakampe medini Krishna. Sa shaila vanakanana. Sa, in Sanskrit again, if you put sa at the beginning, it means saha. Sa kutumbam. Sa parivaram. Along with. If you want to say that, you start with sa. So sa shaila. So along with the mountains, vana, forest, and kanana, right? All those groves and all that. Everything was shaking along with everything. The earth was shaking. That is the kind of fight going on. In fact, the assembled gods were making these observations actually. Chakampe medini Krishna sashaila vanakanana. Then what do they say? Bhaskaraha nishprabha cha asit. The sun's nature, just now we saw Aditya Hridaya. Sun's nature is light and luster and brightness. But it looks like Bhaskaraha Nishprabha. Prabha is gone. The luster, it looked as though the luster of sun got temporarily suspended. Like, if you have a huge rain cloud comes, it completely eclipses the sun. Or if you have an eclipse where the moon comes in between the sun and the earth or something like that. Like that, Nishprabha cha asit. It looked as though that sun became very gloomy. It seemed to have lost its shine. Okay. Then na vavo cha api marutah. The wind is supposed to blow. It looked as though the wind did not blow. It got still. So only taking these kinds of examples in the movies also, they show when some very big events happen, they put a still. Everything stops. In fact, we saw a very similar description when in Janasthana, when Ravana finally lifted Sita from the Janasthana, that time there was a similar description. I don't know how many of you remember. It said that Godavari stopped. The wind did not blow. It was all so much of fear. Like that was described there. So in the same way, they are saying here, Bhaskaraha nishprabhavaha cha asit na vavau cha api marutaha. Even the wind doesn't seem to blow. Okay. So that's what it is. See, when big calamities, don't think these are all some fancy descriptions. Actually, when big calamities happen, these kinds of indications are there. Today, we have lost our ability to look at these subtle things very carefully because we have put a lot of technology and they are doing the job for us. We are not using ours very well. That is why when that big tsunami hit Kadalur and Madras coast, and before that it was in that islands, Java, one of those, Thailand, Indonesia, somewhere. There were reports that the elephants were all running. They were all running away. Whereas these idiot human beings, because we are idiots in the sense, we have lost this ability to see this. We, took it for granted. Actually, if you look at just before a huge cyclone coming or tsunami hitting, there will be these kinds of description. Maruti will not blow. The wind will not blow. You will see a sort of a stillness. So we should be able to sense that we have left all that to the gadgets. And somebody who has to monitor the gadgets and tell us if he forgets or the gadgets are malfunctioning, we will be in trouble. Or we are not willing to listen. We don't have an opportunity to listen also, we will be in trouble. That's what is happening now. But these descriptions do happen when there are some big calamities which are imminent. So that is what they are saying. Tato devasa gandharvaha siddhascha paramarshayah chintamapedire sarve sakinnara mahoragaha. So there is a Sagandharva and Sakinnara, just like Sashaila which we saw in the previous sloka. Here you see Sagandharva, which means Gandharvasaha, along with the Gandharvas. Sakinnara, Kinnara, along with Kinnaras. That's why Sakinnara is coming. So Tataha, thereafter, then Devaha, all the gods, Sagandharvaha, along with the Gandharvas, who are the celestial musicians, Siddhascha, Paramarshayah, Paramarishis, Paramarshayah, and then Sakinnaram, Maha Uragaha, Mahoragaha, great serpents. See, these are all the celestial entities. The Nagas, Sarpas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, so many are there, right? So they are all the celestial entities actually. So all of them, survey, all of them, Chintam apedire, they got into a chinta, they got into a great concern. Hey, what is going on here? Things are getting very bad now. It is that, it is like the last over of a, nail biting finish in a one-day match or a 2020, T20 or whatever. These days, even in test matches get over in 1.5 days. So you have the same kind of suspense and thrill. So it is basically, everybody have realized it is coming to an end. There is a fear, there is a tension, because they don't know what is the outcome. What is going on here? Rama and Ravana are so equally fighting with one another, and so it is really a sort of a nail-biting finish which is going to happen. So Chintam apedire, they were all getting very tense and disquiet, and what is going to happen? What is going to happen, like that? So that sense of air of expectation is building very high. Then what did they say? Swasti go brahmane bhyostu lokastishtantu shashvatah jayatam raghava sankhe ravanam rakshaseshwaram yevam japanto pashyamste deva sarshiganaastada Rama Ravanayor yuddham sughoram Roma Harshanam. Then they said, Swasti, let good things happen. Go Brahmanebhyoho astu. And they picked up only two, Go and Brahmanas. Today people can actually interpret it in all possible ways and bring in a great deal of fault lines of ancient Indian wisdom, and it's all castes. All these we can do. There is a very important reason why these two are always included. Reason is the Gomata is the central repository for nourishment for human beings. That milk that she is giving 2 times a day is the greatest nourishment, next only to mother's milk. Mother's milk is not available forever. It is a Prakriti. So we are taking the mother's milk of a calf. That's why we have to be very, very, eternally grateful to the cow. That is why we have put Gomata at the highest pedestal. In fact, if you ask me, if there is any kind of satkarya that we have to do, if there is any kind of protection of Sanatana Dharma that we want to, we should go Samrakshana and go Dana as much. There are some, places. There are any number of places coming now, in ashramas, in some nice, people who want to, protect and nourish Gomata. We should actually give as much money for Go Samrakshana, because, Go is very important. Go is the central nourisher of every human being. That's why Go. Then Brahmana. Brahmana is clearly not the birth certificate Brahmana. Birth certificate Brahmanas are all Vaishyas today. Nobody does what the Manusmriti says, ask Brahmins to do. Nobody meaning hardly. Of the birth certificate Brahmins, 0.1% maybe those Brahmanas. He's talking about those Brahmanas actually. Why? Because they are true well-wishers of the society. They do dana, they do yajna and all swadhyaya and pravachana and all that for the welfare of the human beings. So they provide food for the mind. They protect us selflessly working. They are the true definition of a Brahmana. Such people are to be protected always. If they remain, society will remain. Whereas a vast number of Brahmanas have become software consultants and management gurus and all that has happened today. I am not talking about those Brahmanas. They are all Brahma Bandhus. They are only relatives to Brahmanas. This is Go Brahmanebhyaha Astu Swasti means such people who are actually selflessly working for the society, not expecting anything. There are some. Don't think they are not there. There are there. They don't even show themselves. They keep doing good things for our behalf and so on. So it is talking about such people. Go Brahmanebhyostu Swasti. Then it says, Lokas tishtantu shashvataha. This is a very, very important point. Lokaha tishtantu shashvataha. Let there be, if I have to use 2021 terminology to describe this, let the sustainability of the world, of the universe be protected. That is the meaning of this. Lokas tishtantu shashvataha. Let it be endure forever. Let this sustainability be not disturbed. Now you may be wondering, then they said, I'll come to it. Then Jayatam Ragavaha Sankye Ravanam Rakshaseshwa. In the war, let Rama conquer, win over Ravana. This is their prayer. You may be wondering why. Because only by Rama overpowering Ravana, Lokas Tishtantu Sashvataha will happen. Otherwise, this Lokas Tishtantu Sashvataha will never happen. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata, abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyam. Abhyuttanam adharmasya. When adharma is, poking its ugly head up, here it is happening in the form of Ravana. He is, abusing the modesty of people, of lot of ladies. He is rule unto himself. Although he is learned and all that, he transgressed all limits, and he is unfortunately in a power and position. So therefore, he has a propensity to damage the sustainability a great deal. That is what we have to understand here. If people in very high positions have the propensity to damage, create such a damage to the society, that is the true sustainability, not your climate. Climate is only one part of it. This pollution are a lower level. Because if even if you don't do anything, natural systems will actually, discipline us. It will do acid rain and all that, and we will start behaving day after tomorrow. But people, what do we do? If people in positions just transgress all the limits, and they have the greatest influence uh, to modify the mindset of others who look upon them. That's what happened to Duryodhana also. If you look at Mahabharata, so Duryodhana was a law unto himself. He transgressed a lot of contemporary community standards, right? He says that is what was happening. So, lokas tishtantu sashvataha means such things are to be put an end. Abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham. Paritranaya sadhunam. That sadhu are go brahmanas actually. Paritranaya sadhunam. Go brahmane bhyastu swasti we are saying here now. It's the same thing. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Here the vinashaya is dushkrita is Rakshaseshwara Ravana. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. And what do you mean by establishing dharma? It means lokas tishtantu sashvataha. Let the sustainability part of this universe not get disturbed. Let me restore it back to its natural state. So Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Now Rama has come, the Avatara Purusha has come, and this is the moment to finish this fellow. That is why they are praying like that. Evam Japantaha. See, look at next. It says, Evam Japantaha. This apashyam stay, that word, if you split, it will become apashyan. The is will go and they will remain. Apashyan is again present continuous. Seeing. It's a narration. Seeing what is happening here, te devaha, sarshi ganaha tada, gana, rishi ganaha saha, sa rishi ganaha saha. That's why sarshi ganaha. Sarshi ganas tada, Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Sugoram Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Pashyan, Apashyan, Romaharshanam. It is a hair rising experience. Romaharshanam Sugoram Rama Ravanayor Yuddham Apashyan, Te Devaha, Sashi Ganaha, Tada Evam Japantaha. This is how they did Japa. Let this fellow die. Let go and Brahmanas get swasti. Loka tishtantu sashvataha. So this is what they prayed. And this is very, very important. So many a times we cannot even understand why some prayers are done. We do not even understand many kind of events. I'll give you two very uncharacteristic examples. You would have never thought about it. Uh, when I was thinking how sometimes we don't understand the larger message of something that we see or something that we go through or experience. Uh, See, I have seen, I'm sure many of you would have perhaps, when a person dies, it may be a he or a she, maybe a middle age, it may be a old age, whatever it is. See, when a person dies and, that body is there, it is yet to be, whatever final rites have to be done. See, one thing is the people who are near and dear, they are in great emotion, of course, that somebody lost his father or husband, somebody lost his mother, whatever. That's one part of the story. We are so much, of course, these things occupy a lot of our mind. But I do not know how many of you have noticed. If you see, in most cases, in a vast majority of cases, this person would have been in long illness for some time. This person might have been suffering for a variety of reasons. All that would have happened. But when you see the dead body, gata prana, the prana is gone, that body is there waiting to be consigned to either whatever is the rituals are to be done, consigned to play. You see that body, you will see that the body will, the face will show a sigh of relief. I've seen it in many cases. Actually. I'm sure many of you would have also had a similar experience. There is a sigh of relief. Do you know what is the message there? The message is for the near and dear, somebody is gone. So it is a matter of grief. But for that soul which departed that body, for that soul which departed that body, there is a sigh of relief because the soul says, I have taken one step in my journey and I'm done. See, imagine there is a 10-step process which we have to do. What do? We do the first step and then we relax and take a step, take a little break. I have done a little bit of, I've covered some 20%. That is why that body looks like that. There is a vishranti. There is a sense of peace and tranquility even in that body simply because there's a deeper meaning there. That it has discharged one step in its journey. So therefore it is fine. Now I'll tell you one more experience which some of us would have had or would have heard people saying. When there is this body which is to be, the final rites are to be done. These days what happens is, some son has to come from the US or the daughter has to come from the US or something like that. Sometimes they keep the body for 1 or 2 days. All that happens. But in all these cases, again, I think we need to think through all these. In all these cases, there is this urge to finish that process. And after, of course, there is a great deal of, agony that the father has been consigned to the flames, whatever. While be so on one side, there is a feel of satisfaction after the ashes are collected and the ashes are immersed in the, river or ocean. Why? Because in our antaratma, it says this body has to be given back to the pancha bhutas. Ah, I have done it. Fine. So these are all very internal feelings. So why I'm giving these two examples is lokas tishtantu sashvataha. We need to understand the deeper meaning. It is not about killing some X, Y, or Z or nothing like that. There is this deeper meaning to many of these. And when we introspect, we understand it gives a different meaning to the same event, the same message that we see on a stula. The sukshma is different. So, there is this sigh of relief, there is this sigh of feeling of, you know, uh, it has been done. That is the feeling they are actually expressing here. That this fellow is at the brink of creating unsustainable future. He has to go now. Let him go. Let him go is what they are saying. Jayatam Raghavaha Sankhe Ravanam Raksaseshwaram is what they are saying. So that is what it is. Then Gandharvapsarasam Sangha Drishtva Yuddhamanupamam Gaganam Gaganakaram Sagaras Sagaropamaha Rama Ravanayor Yuddham Rama Ravanayoriva Evam Bruvanto Dadrushuhu Tadyuddham Rama Ravanam. So very beautiful shloka. Gandharvaha apsarasam sangha drishtva yuddham anupamam. This war that they, all these Gandharvas and Sarasas, all these people who are all seeing, right? Gandharva, Apsarasas, all those people who are all here and seeing, yuddham anupamam. There is no way they were able to say this war is like which war? Is there any upama? Is there any analogy or anything that we can say? No. Yuddham anupamam yuddham drishtva. What did they say? This is Valmiki's masterpiece. He say, I have quoted this many times. Gaganam gaganakaram. Sagaraha sagaropamaha. Right? Rama Ravanayor yuddham Rama Ravanayor iva. Gahanam gahanakaram sagaraha. If you ask, is there an analogy for how deep is the ocean? I don't think there is any analogy you can give. The ocean is deeper than Mount Everest. Mount Everest is 11.6 kilometers, whereas the Pacific Ocean is 13.6 kilometers. So, Gahanam Gahanakaram, how deep and how Gambira and how vast this ocean is, you cannot give upama. It is only Sagaraha Sagaropamaha. Right? Gagana is Gaganakaram. Gagana is the space, sky. Sagara is the, what I was saying. Gaganam Gaganakaram. If you want to describe the reach of sky, the akara of sky, what is a simile? You cannot give any simile. Gaganasya upama Gaganam eva. Sagarasya upama Sagara eva. Because these are all so vast, so Gambira, right? So Gaganam Gaganakaram. The sky can be matched only with sky, and Sagara, the ocean, can be matched only with ocean. There is no other possibility of even pointing to anything. These are all anupamas. There is no upama possible for all these. In the same way, Rama Ravanayoho Yuddham, Rama Ravanayoho Iva. You cannot even take another opponents, two opponents fighting and give an example. It was so advitiya. It was so special. It was so unique. That is what evam bruvantaha. Like this, they were saying, Dadrshuhu yadyuttam Rama Ravanam. So these assembled gods were astonished by what they saw, and they have one level they were astonished. At another level, they were little concerned because it's going on, and this final finish, what is going to happen. The third level, they were praying that this fellow has to go. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So therefore, this fellow, let him go. And they also felt it is so Gambira that you cannot make any comparison to it. So the point here is Rama and Ravana are put on the same pedestal when it comes to war. Both are so skilled. So the greatness of Rama and the greatness of Ravana on matters of fighting and use of their skills in a warfare are absolutely same, absolutely equal. In greatness, both are to be put on the same pedestal. That's why it says Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayor Iva. It's exactly like Rama and Ravana fighting. There's no other way. All these are describing that it is such a tough, such a sort of a thing that is happening. But the Gandharvas and Rishis and Siddhas and Kinnaras and Uragas are all very worried. They are all praying that let this come to an end, that this fellow go. Because if he is here, the sustainability of the world is in great trouble. Let him go. Tatha Krodhan Mahabahu Ragunam Kirti Vardhanaha Sandhaya Danusha Ramaha Sharam Ashi Vishopamam Ravanasya Shiro Chindat Srimajwalita Kundalam Tachirapatitam Bhumau Drishtam Lokaistribistada. Tataha, thereafter, Krodhan Mahabahuhu Ragunam Kirtivardhanaha Mahabahuhu Krodhat, with great fear, anger, with a lot of fiery feeling and anger, Ragunam Kirtivardhanaha, one who grows, the Kirti of the Raghuvamsha, who is none other Rama, Mahabahu, with a great powerful shoulder and so on. Sandhaya Ramaha, the Ramaha is Kirtivardhanaha, Bahu, everything is same. Sharam Ashi Vishopamam. Sharam is the arrow, Ashi Visha Upamam. As poisonous as a snake. Ashi Vishopamam Sharam. Danusha Sandaya. He used the Danus, the arrow, and hurled that arrow, which was as poisonous like serpent and so on. Ravanasya Shiraha Achindat. Ravanasya Shiraha Achindat. So he with that arrow he cut Ravana's Shira. And how does the Shira look like? Srimad Jwalita Kundalam. So the Shira had that shining Kundala, blazing earrings. Srimad Jalita Kundala. Srimad is rich, it is very, wealthy. Srimad Jwalita Kundalam Shiraha Achindat. He cut off. He cut off Ravana's head with that arrow. Tat Shiraha, Tat Shiraha, Patitam Bhumau Drishtam. So it fell. The head fell on the Bhumi. Lokaihi Tribihi Tada. Everybody in the three worlds saw that the head fell on the ground. So Ravana was sort of cut off. His head was cut off by Rama, and the head fell on the ground, which everybody in all the three worlds saw. Now comes the climax or anti-climax. I don't know what it is. Tasyaiva sadrisham chanyat Ravanasyotitam shiraha takshiptam kshipra hastena Ramena kshiprakarina tasya eva sadrisham cha anyat Ravanasya uttitam shiraha. One more star grew. Uttitam means come up. It's like, so there is a machine there. You cut off, then next one comes. You cut that off, then the next one comes. Something like that. Ravanasya utitam shiraha tat kshiptam. That also he cut. Tat kshiptam kshiprahastena ramena kshiprakarina. So Kshipra is fast. He is very swift and his hand actions are very swift. So very quickly he also cut that. So there was a second head which came in the first head was cut off, it fell on the ground. Then there is some cha anyate, sadrisham cha anyate. Exactly one more Ravana head came. Sadrisham cha anyate Ravanasya uttitam shiraha. Takshiptam Shiprahastena Ramena Shiprakarina. Dvitiyam Ravana Shiraha Chinnam Samyati Sayakaihi Chinnamatram cha Tachirsham Punareva Pradrishyate. Dvitiyam Ravana Shiraha Chinnam Sayakaihi Samyati. As the arrows were cutting the second head which popped up, right? Dvitiyam Chinnam, Shiras Chinnam, Chinnamatram cha, the moment it was chopped off, Chinnamatram cha, Tachirsham Punareva Pradrishyate. One more head came. Again, another head, popped up. Punareva Pradrishyate. Same, it looked as though the same head is reappearing again. This fellow is not dying that easily. It is again coming up. Tadapyanishasankashai chinnam ramasya sayakaihi evamev shatam chinnam shirasam tulya varchasam tadapi ashani sankashaihi chinnam ramasya sayakaihi. Even that also, chinnam ramasya sayakaihi ashani sankasam, like lightning, like thunderbolt, like. So with the thunderbolt like arrow, Rama actually struck it off also, which is the third one actually. Evameva, in the same manner, Shatam Chinnam, hundreds of heads kept on coming. It's like a magic machine which is running. Moment you chop it off, next fellow comes. Again you chop it off, next fellow comes. Again you chop it off, next fellow comes. Tulya Varchasam. Equal. It looks the same shine. It was exactly like the same Ravana's head. It's some Mayajal going on there. So 100 of them he cut, Rama cut, and it kept on appearing. Nachaiva Ravanasyantaha drishyate jivitakshaye tata sarvastra vidviraha kausalyananda vardanaha marganer bahubir yuktaha chintayamasa raghavaha. Nacha eva Ravanasya antaha drishyate. What is this here? We are not able to see the end of Ravana. Ravanasya antaha na drishyate jivitakshaye. We wanted to, finish him. His death is not to be seen. Tataha, thereafter, sarva astra vid. He knows all the astra. He is Ramaha shastra brutam varaha. That's what in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says. Those who can use very nicely and very sophisticatedly the arrows, Rama is the best. He is a Sarva Shastra with Veeraha, Kausalyananda Vardanaha. So this Rama, Marganaihi Bahubihi Yuktaha. I have tried many things. All kinds of things I have tried. Chintayamasa Raghava. He really got into big trouble. What is going on here? I have tried many things. I have some great astras and shastras with me. I have, put everything at this fellow, and this fellow is just popping up. That is what Rama is thinking. Maricho nihato yaistu karo yaistu sadhushanaha krauncha vane viradastu kabando dandaka vane yaisala bhagna valicha kshubitom buddhihi yayime sayaka sarve yuddhe pratyayika mama kimnu tatkaranam yena Ravane manda tejasaha. Then he recollects. Maricha was killed. Marichaha nihataha. He is to only with these arrows. Kara was killed. Yaistu Dushana, Sudushna and Kara were killed by this. Virada was killed. Kabanda was killed in Dandakavana. And with that, he pierced the mountains when Sugriva asked him to do it. Sala trees and the Gira, the 7 Sala trees and the mountain, everything was Bhagna. Vali was killed. Kshupita Ambudihi, when they were at the sea coast, they wanted to cross the ocean. They were not, the Samudra Raja was not, sort of giving way. So he was putting his arrow. So he was immediately, Samudra Raja was very worried. So even everywhere it was happening. Taime Sayakaha Sarve Yuddha Pratyayika Mama. They were all been very fruitful to me. Pratyayika, they are all very fruitful to me. Kimnu tat karanam, what was the reason? What is the reason? Yena Ravane Mandatejas. These are all not working with Ravana. It has all become Mandatejas. They are not showing their efficacy. They are of little efficacy. And why is it happening? So Rama was very concerned. So this is the anticlimax of this story. In some ways, it was so much at the end of killing him, and then some Mayajal has started now. 100 heads have been chopped off, and it is coming one after the other. So Rama was a little bit wondering what to do. Why is this Shastras not working? Like that, he was thinking. So the Sarga 107 ends with that. With this thought, Sarga 107 ends. We will see Sarga 108. So in the 108th Sarga, the 34 verses, the first 12 verses, Matali, who is his Indra's charioteer, who is now the charioteer of Rama, reminds Rama of the Brahmastra and asks him, why don't you make use of it? Then immediately Ravana remembers, Rama remembers, then he takes the Brahmastra, and then, that's the end of the story. Rama kills Ravana using Brahmastra, and everybody rejoices at the death of Ravana. Look at the fate of this fellow. A fellow who has learned so much, who is very great in his skill, his intellectual, capacity, his ability, his bhakti towards Shiva, his knowledge of Veda, everything is great. But people want him, are happy that he is dead. I mean, the worst thing that can happen to an individual is people are happy to see him go. That means we have lived a very poor life. And that life is a complete wastage of life. If somebody goes off, dies, goes off, resigns in an office, everything is applicable. Somebody goes off, everybody is happy. That's a terrible way of living, that we have wasted our life like that. So this is a yardstick for us to see for ourselves whether we have lived a reasonable life. We'll see a few shlokas here. Ata samsmarayamasa matali ragavam tada ajananniva kimbira tvamenam anuvartase. Ata, thereafter, samsmarayamasa. Smarayamasa means remind. Samsmarayamasa, the sam is a prefix. It is a upasarga. It reminds him very well, properly. If you want to say, like, if you have to, improvise the quality of the reminder, you put some. Some swagatam, we can say. We can say suswagatam. That act of swagatam can be, that whole idea can be even embellished even more. You put a upasarga. So the sam and su are like that. So samsmarayamasa. He remembered him properly very well. Who? Matali. Ragavam Tada. At that time, Matali, who is actually the charioteer of Rama at this point in time, who happens to be the charioteer of Indra, he asked, Ajanan Iva. You pretend as though you don't know, or as though you are not aware of. Ajanan Iva. Kim Vira. Hey Vira. Tom Enam Enam here is pointing to Ravana actually. Enam, this fellow, you are going behind him as though you don't know how to finish him off is implied here. That is not written here. Ajanan iva means na janati kim na janati. That is implied here. Ajanan iva, as though you don't know. Don't know what? Don't know to finish him off. As though you don't know how to finish him off. You are just going after him and doing some kind of battle and all that. Why are you doing that? This is what Matali says to Rama. Then he says, Vijrisa Visrujasmai Vadayatvam Astram Paitamaham Prabho Vinashakalakkatitah Yasurai Sodhya Vartate. Visrija. Visrija means release. Visrijanam is releasing. Visrija. Asmai. Asmai means to that fellow, towards that fellow who is Ravana. Vadhaya, Asmai Vadaya, in order to kill him. Asmai Vadaya Visrija. Tvam Visrija. What has to be released? Astram Paitamaham Prabho. This Brahmastra which is there, no, you just use it now. Why are you just keeping that in your stock? Vinashakalaha Katitaha. I think now every Suraihi sa adya vartate. So all these devas are saying time has come to finish this fellow. The time of destruction has arrived. That's what everybody is saying. So therefore, finish him off. Take the Brahmastra. That's the end of the story. Is what Matali reminds Brahma. And Matali also tells about what is this Brahmastra. Tatas samsmarito Ramaha tena vakyena matalehe jagraha sasaram deeptam nishvasantamivoragam yam tasmai pratamam pradat agastyo bhagavan rishihi brahmadattam mahabanam amogam yudhi viryavan Tataha samsmaritaha Ramaha, like thus being reminded samsmaritaha Ramaha, Tataha samsmaritaha Ramaha, by having reminded like this by Matali, Tena Matalehe Vakyena Tena, by that words of Matali, Rama was reminded. And what did he do? Jagraha. Grah is to take. Jagraha is he took. It's a certain verb form. Jagraha, he took. Sashiram deeptam. Nishvasantam iva uragam. That sharam, that arrow is all shining and blazing arrow, which is like a hissing serpent. Nishvasantam iva uragam. It was all, like that. It's an upama there. And yam tasmai pratamam pradat. That was given to him first. First means, pratamam means earlier. That's the meaning. Earlier means earlier. Pratama means earlier. Pradat. Agastya Bhagavan Rishi, if you remember, in their Vanavasa, after about 11 years of Vanavasa, after they, did all that, in Aranyakanda, we saw all that, they met Agastya. That time he gave this. He gave this astra and he said, keep it. So, Tasmai Pratamam Pradad Agastya Bhagavan Rishi, Brahmadattam Mahabanam. This was given by Brahma himself. Mahabanaha, Amogam. See, Moga is something which can fail, which is misleading or which is confusing. This is Amogam. This is a sure hit. Yudhi Viryavan. So in the battle, in a war, this is sure to hit. Amogam, Brahmadattam, Amogam, Sharam, Deeptam, Nishvasantam, Iva Uragam. Yam pratamam Agastya Bhagavan Rishihi the Pradat Jagraha. that he actually picked up. He took it. Brahmana nirmitam purvam indrartamabhi amitaujasa dattam surapate purvam trailokya jaya kankshinaha. Brahmana nirmitam. This was done, constructed, this was made by Brahma himself. Purvam indrartam. This was for the sake of Indra only he made it. And Amita Ojasa. Amita Ojasa. Amita Ojasa. Ojas means strength. Ojas is bigger than Tejas. Strength can radiate. That is called Tejas. The vitality is called Ojas. So Amita Ojasa. It is of unlimited. There is no Mita. There is no measurement possible. Amita Ojasa. Dattam Surapatehe. Suranampatihi Indraha. So Dattam Surapatehe. It was given to Purvam Dattam Surapatehe. Trailoka Jayakanshina. He was desirous of winning all the three worlds. At that time, Brahma actually gave it to Indra. Indra gave it to, all those stories are in Aranyakanda. Indra gave it to Agastya, and Agastya actually gave it to Rama. All those he reminds. He says, take it out. Why are you keeping it? Saravanaya samkruddaha brishamayam yakarmukam sikshepa paramayattaha sharam marma vidaranam saha samkruddaha Ramaha Ravanaya brishamayam yakarmukam sikshepa. So he got very angry, he got really enraged, and Paramayataha, well, fully prepared he was, and Sharam Marma Vidaranam. This is fully prepared. This arrow, this Brahmastra is capable of hitting his vitals and tear him off. So Sikshepa, he hurled that on Ravana. Savajraiva Durdarshaha Vajribahu Visarjitaha Kritantaiva Chavaryaha Nyapatad Ravanorasi. Sa Vajraiva, that is like Vajra, and Vajribahu Vivarjitaha. Rama's Bahu was like Vajribahu, Indra's arms like that. Durdarshaha Iva, he Kritanta Iva, it is Durdarsha, it is Kritanta. It has a capability to release like Yama. Kritanta Iva. Avareha Nyapatat Ravanorasi, Ravanasya Urasi. It fell on his, Nyapatat is fell on his chest. It fell on his chest. Savisrishto Mahavegah Sharirantakarasharaha Bibeda Hridayam Tasya Ravanasya Duratmanaha. Savisrishtaha Mahavegah, that which was released with great speed. Sharirantakaraha Sharaha, that arrow which is capable of putting an end to life. Bibeda Hridayam Tasya Ravanasya Tasya Hridayam Duratmanaha Ravanasya Tasya Hridayam Bibeda. It tore open the heart of Ravana. Rudirarakta savegena sharirantakarasharaha Ravanasya haran pranan viveshadarani talam. Rudiraktaha vegena sharirantakara, which is all stained with blood. Ravanasya haran pranan, taking away Ravana's life, prana. Vivesha, it entered Dharani Dalam, it penetrated into the earth. It took the life out of Ravana and it penetrated onto the earth. Sasharo Ravanam Hatva Udirardrakritachavihi Krita Karma Vibrutavat Satunim Punaravishat. Saha Sharaha Ravanam Hatva, having finished Ravana, killed Ravana, Rudihi Ardra Krita Chavihi. It stained the color. The color is because of the color of the blood. It's smeared with blood, so it's all like that. Krita Karma Nibrutavat, just like Nibruta, a soldier or a dasa who will accomplish his mission. When he is asked to do, it will do, and then he'll keep quiet. Like that, Sharaha, that arrow, Tunim Punaravishati, it came back to Rama's, his, the bag of arrows where they keep, no? That's where they, because this is only a mantra. The arrow is the regular arrow. It is the mantra which makes it a Brahma. So it came, Punaravishat. It came and it settled back in Rama's quiver, actually. So this is how Ravana is dead now, and the Loka Mangala has happened. Everybody rejoiced. Ravana's avatar Mahima is over, and Dharma Samsthapanartham Punarekaha Avakashaha Utpannaha. So that is what happens in Ramayana. And 109th Sarga, Rama asked Vibhishana to do the last rites. So, first 13 Sargas, Vibhishana laments the death of Ravana. There are some 13 shlokas. Then Rama praises the greatness of any warrior, not just Ravana. Rama praises the greatness of actually a warrior dying valiantly in the battlefield. There are some shlokas. And then he relates it to Ravana also. He says, you would have done a lot of bad things. But, a great warrior is somebody whom we should respect. Therefore, you do the, there is a very famous shloka. I will take it in the next class. There is a nice shloka here where he says, after death, there is no vairi for me. It's over. That part is over. That I have done for a reason. Now, we have to do the last rites. That's what he says to Vibhishana. And 110th Sarga, then the Ravana's cohorts arrive at the battlefield, and lamentation of the cohort. There are some shlokas. Actually, I was thinking when I heard that Ravana's cohorts arrive at the battlefield, I was wondering how is the logistics arranged for this. So many, he will have hundreds of thousands of wives. So how many chariots or buses are to be arranged, and then you have to transport all of them from the palace to the battlefield. It's a big logistical nightmare for the sinking army. In a very humorous way, I am saying. But anyway, Ravana's cohorts arrive at the battlefield, and the lamentation of the cohorts and the death of Ravana. I think with this we will stop here. Next class we will see the lamentation of Mandodari. That's a separate sarga, which Valmiki, because Mandodari is very different from all these people. So there is a lamentation of Mandodari, which is a big sarga, long sarga actually, relatively speaking. From then on, we will see the finishing formalities now. Now Ravana is gone. The Avatara is Tattva and Mahima is over. Karana is over. We will see the remaining portions in the days to come. Next week, next Sunday, and the following Sunday, which is 7th March and 14th March, I am on travel. Therefore, we will not have these two classes. So we will have to meet on 21st of March for the next class. So with this, we will close the day with the Shanti Mantra. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasyashalini Deshoyam Kshobarahito Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Aputra Putrinas Santu Pautrinaha Adhana Sadhana Santu Jivantu Sharadam Shatam Shinman Ramayanam Bhaktya Yappadam Padame Bhava Sayati Brahmanastanam Brahmana Pujyate Sada Hari Om.